and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. I'm here with Dan. Hello, Dan.
Hi.
Dan, what is the Billowing Hilltop?
I think that depends on the question. I'm
Yeah.
not sure you're asking the right question. I think it's probably a when or a why.
In other words, we don't really know.
No,
Nobody really knows.
it's a mystery.
Anyway, Dan and I are here to introduce episode 4. Thanks for listening. We'd encourage you, of course, to rate and review us on your podcast app of choice, Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Spotify or whatever.
Or subscribe.
Yeah, and subscribe, and that helps us hugely. Dan, let's talk a bit about the weird item that is Burple.
That's one way of putting it.
When he's really weird. He's a bit weird.
He's a bit. Well, I guess it goes back. So for the sake of the listeners, I suppose we've played
readers.
So we played lots of adventures, and we played different characters doing different things. And I tend to go for characters that are good in all situations. So historically, or in sort of recent history, I played thieves.
Yeah.
Because they can fight a bit, and then when you're not fighting and you're exploring, they're kind of front and center when you're exploring. Basically, the rogue I played last time was a bit crap in a fight, unless you get the sneak attack.
Yeah.
They're pretty useless.
Yeah.
So in this instance, I thought, well, I haven't played a bard, so I'll go for a bard. Bards do that kind of off combat, on combat thing. Bit of fighting, bit of spell casting.
What's in that, though? Is it to do with wanting to be able to contribute in all situations?
I don't want to be doing what everyone else is doing. If you've got a fighter, I don't want another fighter.
Yeah.
And in previous incarnations of the bard, when I was playing them quite a lot, they used to get I think it was 3.5, where they used to get these ability to fight in combat, and they got extra spell points, and they could kind of fire off spells and take 2 hits and move, and they could just do lots of things mid combat, and they could dimension door and teleport.
Yeah, well, the sort of closest thing to a kind of magus
yes
in Pathfinder.
But also he got things like haste, and they kind of nixed it when they kind of ported it over, but in previous incarnations it was
they've squished everybody in 5th edition. I mean, that's the thing.
But it's still the kind of thing that I like, which is the sort of support can do lots of things, but then can also get down to fighting.
I mean, the evidence so far is that that's exactly the fight with the bugs, the fight with the wolves. It's like chipping in with like buffs for other people, and then kind of darting into combat, doing a little bit of damage. It's good. I just wonder whether the whole utility kind of all-rounder thing also might come from a little bit about the fact that you don't want to get bored, basically. That you want to, every time anything comes up in the dungeon, you want to be able to contribute. Do you see what I mean? Rather than
yes, I think that's fair enough. I think, but also the kind of game I like is the kind of tabletop game, right? So you could view D&D as a kind of role playing is front and center.
Role playing
game.
Lots of
people love. Well, no, actually, literally, not quite dressing up, but taking on a persona, which is not.
I wear my anyway.
Yes, that's true. We won't tell the listeners about that.
Well, we can edit this bit out, but I know what you mean. There's definitely, there are all sorts of approaches, and there's the tactical square based fighting game, fighting and exploring.
When it gets to combat, that's the one that I like. So off combat, I like story, and I like kind of plot,
background,
and then background and kind of mystery. But when it comes to fighting, it's a tabletop kind of touch and move kind of strategy game.
Yeah. So it's what is it? What are you?
Azimar.
An Azimar with the 2 A's. First in the dictionary.
Azimar. Yes.
He goes Aardvark. Azimar. It does. I've looked. But it's an odd choice. It's interesting because we gives us an opportunity to kind of think about how that's come about. You don't know who your father is. We're talking about Burple now, obviously.
Yes.
And your mother is dead, and we think she died in something called the Red Plague or something it's called, which is like it must have been when you were very young. I don't know. We'll have to think about that.
Well, the background kind of fits, doesn't it? So the idea that you kind of don't know who your father is, but clearly you're half celestial and your mother was human, so it's some kind of other planar intervention for want of a better phrase.
Well, yeah, yeah, okay. There's potential there to develop something along those lines about what is that? Who is your dad?
Yeah,
I don't know how that might play out in the campaign. So where we are, you're down in this sinkhole. You're exploring this thing, and then you've heard some people upstairs. So I wonder what you think is going on there.
I think that you're talking a chance encounter,
Mm-hmm.
which will sort of complicate matters.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm thinking very early on, Graham's character sent people the wrong
Sessions.
way.
Yeah.
Sent these other guys to the wrong cairn.
Yes.
And I suspect it might be them. I have to say, other people turning up smacks of you.
No.
It does.
Would I do that?
No, you can't just take the module and run the module as you've got to add something else that makes it a bit more complicated.
Yeah, I do like to add things. Anyway, right. Well, that was. Thanks very much for joining me. We'll see what happens with these people upstairs. The mystery visitors. Are they the fellow explorers that you misled about the cairn, or somebody completely different? We'll find out. Thanks, Dan. And without further ado, we'll have episode 4. The swimmer takes it all. Right, so hello. We are back. We're playing D&D in a world of make-believe. I'm with my friends Dan, Graham, Johnny, Lucas and Paul. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
Where we left things are heroes. They're not really heroes. Whatever they are. They've been exploring a mysterious old tomb in the hills called the Whispering Cairn, and they found a couple of mysterious artifacts. They fought some wolves and some bugs, some other horrible greeblies, and they've discovered a strange burial chamber featuring mysterious lanterns in all the colours of the rainbow except red. They found some yet more mysterious elevators, a disappointingly empty sarcophagus. If you're new to all of this, I would suggest going back and listening to the earlier episodes. If you can't face doing that, and I can understand why you wouldn't, but you still need a detailed, comprehensive account of all these elements, I would suggest hitting up Lucas on Twitter. That's @Luca_Fowler, and he will be delighted to take you through it, if necessary at your home or at your place of work. Right, where are we? Last time, our nervous adventurers, they decided to venture down a sinkhole into the depths below the tomb, and they were just beginning to explore the chambers they found at the bottom when they heard a noise from above them, and it seems that they are not alone. That someone or something or some people or something is in the tomb with them. So guys, what do you want to do?
Well, I need to possibly roll something to do with my exhaustion that I'm currently feeling.
You're at disadvantage. You're on the first stage of advantage. You're at the first stage of exhaustion, which means that you're at disadvantage on all ability checks.
But is there anything I can do?
Yes. You could make another wisdom save.
Well, that's going to be brilliant. Let's give that a go. Getting a massive 7.
No, doesn't get any worse, doesn't get any better. You feel like this must be some property of the chamber that you're in. In the meantime, the noises upstairs are getting a little bit louder. Your sense, of course, is that you're not really going to be that perceptible where you are, in the sense that the only light you've got is a light spell at the bottom of this shaft. Unless somebody's actually looking down it, they're not going to know about it. But what you should remember is that all of the lanterns upstairs are lit. You lit them all last time. You don't know what that would give away, because if you turned up and all the lanterns were lit, you may not think anything of it. The only other thing I can think of that's a giveaway is your rope, and it's pythoned into the floor just at the big base of the green corridor, just kind of in the main tomb chamber. You don't think that these voices are proximate. You think these voices are a way back. You'd hesitate to guess exactly how far away they are, but they're not directly upstairs. It sounds like a scared person being chased potentially by some scary people.
I'd like to move out of the room I'm in. It changes my
Do
exhaustion state. I'm going to go and stand next to Grimbold.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm moving east along the passageway till I come to the crossroads, as it were. It's about 30 foot.
Okay.
Do I feel any better?
Well, make another wisdom save.
And that gives me 8. The rolling's getting good.
Okay. No, you still feel not great. What about anybody else? Anybody else want to do anything? Do you reckon it'll take somebody... It's a relatively easy climb. Well, I mean, what about Grimbold and Parker and Sessions? Well, let's start with Sessions. What do you think, Sessions?
Well, I was just debating whether we continue exploring or return to the upper level to follow this chased sound of a voice. The voice that sounded like it's being chased.
Yeah, you reckon it's probably about 2 rounds to climb up the rope. If you move at 6, that's 30 feet per move action. So if you took 4 move actions at half speed, you'd be able to get up and have a peer out the top of the hole. You would have thought that that you probably got time. You're guessing from the distance of the voices, you probably got time to do that. Certainly at the moment you have.
I would like to climb up.
Okay. And what about? You can do that in a second. What about Grimbold?
We had a full rest.
Yes, you had a full rest just before you came down the sinkhole. Well, I'll correct that. You had a full rest overnight, and it's now first thing in the next morning, and you've done some tootling around in the tomb chamber upstairs.
Yeah.
Playing around with lanterns, moving the dais around. You haven't expended any resources or had any fights or anything since your long rest.
Okay. So to the left was some pegs or something, and to right was some bugs, or the other way around.
Okay, so very quick recap. There's a crossroads. Off to the west, there's a room with stone slabs arranged in an orderly way. Cuthbert went in there and immediately felt very weary. There's a statue at the end of that room. Looking over the contents of the room, there is a corpse on one of those stone benches, slabs, whatever they are. Off to the east, there's a room full of bugs and a weird orange kind of goop substance that they all seem to be crawling over and around.
They're not coming towards us.
No, they're just roiling around in there. To the north, first of all, you get a pair of alcoves, one to the left, one to the right. They've got pegs set in them, which Sessions feels that he has successfully identified as being pegs that one might hang tools, maybe masonry tools, construction tools, something like that. And then the corridor continues north, virtually immediately becomes a set of stairs going down and away from you. And not far down those stairs, water is lapping up against the stairs. That is the situation.
Okay,
Behind you is the room with the thing.
I'm moving forward with my light spell
Mm-hmm.
on a pebble.
Okay, so you move up.
So I'm going straight
Yeah, I understand.
past Burple and the other guy to the foot of the...
Yeah, I can't.
The other guy is Sessions, your cousin.
Oh, beg your pardon. Didn't recognise you in the dark.
Yeah, you've got to be careful that you don't walk into the water. So you can go up to the edge of the water, yeah, and you've got a light pebble, right?
Yeah.
So you can see water, and you can see that it opens up. It looks basically like the stairs go down into a chamber, and before that chamber opens up, you can just dimly make out under the water that it opens up, and it looks like the whole thing is submerged.
So does it look like it was designed to be flooded like this, or it look like it's...
That's very difficult to tell. I see your point. It could be that it's
there aren't any mooring rings or anything like that?
No, nothing like that, no.
Water's clean, stagnant?
Water looks stagnant-y. Doesn't look particularly clean. Cuthbert.
Can I do another wisdom check?
What is Cuthbert wearing? How much noise is he going to make climbing up the rope?
Oh, I don't think he's going to make it. He's got pretty good stealth.
Sessions, you've got that thing which gives you advantage on stealth checks, don't you?
You're right, I do. Let me remember what it is.
It's something that gives you advantage on stealth checks. So why don't you do that on Cuthbert, and then if Cuthbert's good at stealth, then he's even better. I think we want to be a little bit careful.
Okay, I will transfer my Blessing of the Trickster from Dan to Cuthbert.
Okay, that's good. I like that. So Cuthbert, you're going to make another wisdom save.
Yeah, at advantage. Oh, wisdom save first.
Just wisdom save first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, well, that's a lot better. 19.
Yeah, so you shake off the
Exhaustion.
exhaustion.
That's very decent. Thank you very much. And then I'm going to climb. I've got a move of 30, so I'm going to climb 15 up the rope.
Yeah.
And I'll use stealth, and I'll take advantage on my stealth roll. So my first stealth roll, a 19 again. And
Okay,
my
that's
second
very
stealth
good.
roll gives me a 21.
You could move, so you could do 15 and 15 and get halfway up the rope.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back downstairs and see what people are doing there. So what about Sessions? What are you doing?
I think I'm going to go and look at, from the outside, the room that Cuthbert went into, using my light source just to have a peer around.
Okay, so what you can see in there is that that room, there are man-sized stone slabs. They're about 4 foot off the ground.
Mhm.
They're arranged in 2 rows. There's a corpse on the third one up on the left.
Mm-hmm.
You got a light spell?
No, I've got a light. I've got a torch.
You got a torch. Well, he's wearing red leather armor, and the room is basically drab and kind of grey apart from that armor. The walls slightly taper in at the end, and there's a little stone stage at the end of the room, and on that stage there's a red clay statue of a powerfully built warrior. He's wielding a kind of big cylinder-headed kind of great club, and he's been so kind of carved or sculpted or whatever that he's set up so he looks like he's kind of watching over the room like a guardian.
Okay.
He looks kind of belligerent.
And when I look at him using my religious knowledge,
Give me an intelligence religion check.
Sessions, have you got a good will save?
13 on the intelligence. I have a fair will save. It's not great.
So Sessions, you're 13. Your determination rather is that the statue is of a piece. It seems to be culturally the same as the other carvings here. It looks like it's a figure, a personality maybe, or a kind of an archetypal kind of creature that's part of the mythology of these people who clearly originally built this place.
Okay.
What about, let's pick up with Grimbold, who is standing at the edge of the water. Grimbold, what would you like to do?
I will start walking into the water.
Okay, how fast?
Just very slowly,
Okay.
cautiously.
Well, it's cold. You walk down a couple of steps and it's up to your calves.
That's 5 foot.
Yeah, and then it's up to your knees. Down another couple of steps towards the entrance, and it's up to kind of halfway between your knees and your waist. And you can you realise that when you kind of get down to the bottom of the stairs, you're going to be submerged. You're going to be going into a submerged chamber.
Right.
Would you want to keep going?
I'm going to throw my light pebble
Yes.
into the room, straight ahead of me.
Propel it into the water. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll skit it across there.
Yeah, I mean, it'll sort of bump along, and I'll tell you what you can see. You can see that it looks like some kind of... It looks like a utilitarian chamber. You can see ahead of you, not that far ahead of you, maybe about 5 foot into this submerged chamber on the floor. It looks like there are a series of drains set into the floor, like a grating. Yeah, and about right at the edge of where what your light pebble is showing you, you can see what might be a pillar, a kind of 10-foot wide pillar straight in front of you. That I think is probably about as much as you can determine straight away. Make a perception check.
Okay, my perception -1. Take 1 off this.
Yeah.
That's 17.
You think, or rather you notice, that the drain that's running across the floor in front of you, it looks to be clogged. It looks like there's gunk, matter or something blocking it up.
So the column in front of me, though, that goes up to the ceiling?
Well, that's difficult for you to tell because you're standing on a staircase. Let's say you're up to your chest in water. The roof of this room is about your chin height. You'd have to take a breath and immerse yourself to be able to see the ceiling of the room that's submerged. Yeah? I mean, you can do that if you like. Let's pick up with... so Sessions has looked that way. Grimbold is pushing north and is tentatively sloshing his way down into this submerged chamber. What about Burple Herpish?
So...
Cuthbert has disappeared and is shinning up the rope.
Yeah, so Grimbold, what's your will save like? Has anyone got a decent will save? That's the question. Because I can do Bardic Inspiration, which gives plus 1d6 on a saving throw. So if we're going to go into the room with the armoured guy where Sessions is, that might not be a bad way to do it.
Yep. I was looking at whether guidance applies to saving throws. With the same idea.
High will's crap. You mean wisdom save? Crap.
Yeah.
I have 4 for wisdom saves.
That's pretty good. So I could do that. The other thought is Mage Hand for the gunk that is blocking, that might be clogging up the drain. How far away is the drain from the top of the stairs?
From the top of the stairs, you have to see what you're dealing with. But from the top of the stairs, it's about 25, just under 25 to 30 feet away.
So the range of a Mage Hand is 30 feet.
Okay, so you wouldn't have to. You could head down the stairs sort of 15 feet, something like that, 10 feet, something like that, and it would be within range, and you'd be able to see it. Even though the water is a little murky, you'd be able to see it since Grimbold's light pebble is kind of sitting on the floor in there.
Right. So, guys, 2 options there, I think, from my incredibly utilitarian character.
Couple of good options.
Yeah. Anyone care to
Water.
I think
offer a choice,
doing the mage
preference?
hand. I think the mage hand is.
Shall we try that?
idea.
All right. So, all right, I will do that. I will go to the top of the water.
Yes, sort of up to your ankles.
Yeah.
If you kind of hunker down a bit, you can see past, as it were. You can see down into the room, and you're casting mage hand.
Cast a mage hand.
Does it?
A spectral floating hand appears at a point you choose within range. The hand lasts for the duration or until you dismiss it as an action. The hand vanishes if it is ever more than 30 feet away from you, or if you cast this spell again. You can use your action to control the hand. You can use the hand to manipulate an object, open an unlocked door or container, stow or retrieve an item from an open container, or pour the contents out of a vial. You can move the hand up to 30 feet each time you use it. The hand can't attack, activate magic items, or carry more than 10 pounds.
Well, that's all fine. I mean, if what you want to do is get your mage hand to start, as it were,
clear away the gunk.
Yeah, start sort of scratching away at the goop that's in the drain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it can spend a round doing that.
Yep. Fine.
While that's doing that, Cuthbert, you get I think everybody can take another action. Let's start with Cuthbert. Cuthbert, you want to make a stealth check for the balance of your climb up to the top.
Yep. Do I still have the advantage, or is that gone?
Yeah. I think it carries on.
Oh, okay.
The advantage from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that lasts ages, as they say.
Oh, ages. Well, I get a 22 on the first roll.
It lasts an hour.
Okay, and I get a 15 on the second, so I get a 22. So I will move up again.
Fine. And what are you doing when you get to the top? So you've got an option. You could hunker down so that you don't break the plane of the sinkhole, or you could take a little peek. Or what do you want to do?
Quick link.
Okay. Well, what you see is you're looking down the green passageway into the chamber, and you can see the sarcophagus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is arranged left to right in front of you, because the last thing that you did was take it full circle and point it down the orange passageway, which means it's left right to you.
Yeah.
Backed up against the sarcophagus, on your side of the sarcophagus, hunkered down and looking terrified, there is a kid. You reckon it's a boy. You reckon he is about 10 or 11 years old. You're not from round here, so you wouldn't recognise him.
Right.
Yes?
Yeah.
From behind the sarcophagus, you can only really see the kind of domed roof with all its little glassy speckles and decorations. You can probably see the top of the cobwebs. Yeah?
Yeah.
This kid, by the way, is clearing cobwebs off him. He's obviously stumbled in here. He looks absolutely terrified. You can hear shouting. You can hear something dog-like and snuffly and kind of slightly kind of but it's sort of semi like a dog and semi like intelligible words, sort of and then there's a male voice going, "Come on, where are you? Come on out, you daft little bastard! Come on, we know you're down there!" shouting down the corridor. And this kid is going, "Oh God, oh no, oh Tonge, oh protect me, please, oh," because it's a wimp. That's what you can see.
Okay. Unfortunately, I think I've done my move. So that's
That's you done. So let's go back downstairs and let's go pick up with Sessions. What does Sessions want to do?
I think Cuthbert seemed to survive venturing into the room, was fatigued only for a short period of time.
Yeah, he shook it off once he left after a couple of rolls.
Yeah, so I'm going to gingerly enter that chamber and head towards There's a body, yeah?
There's a body on the third slab from the left.
Third from the left, yeah.
Do you not want to wait for my bardic inspiration?
Sure, I'll wait for the bardic inspiration then.
Okay, so you're hanging back, waiting for a bardic inspiration before you go.
Do you think
anywhere.
I could lasso the body from where I'm standing?
You'd have to make a kind of a to hit roll. You got a rope on you. It wouldn't be Wouldn't be impossible.
Okay, I'm gonna give that a go. I'm gonna tie a kind of lasso to my rope into a lasso,
Hmm.
and then I'm gonna throw it over towards the body and try and pull it out.
Okay. Make a ranged attack roll. You can't add your proficiency bonus because you aren't. So you're just basically rolling a d20 and adding a dexterity, and you need to get you need to loop it over. I've got an armor class in my brain.
Okay, right. Let's see how we do. 10.
10 was the armor class I had in my brain. So you successfully snag the loop of rope around this corpse. Now what you need to do is make a dexterity check to successfully tighten it to the point where it doesn't just slip off, that it actually pulls this, what's the word? It's got to be able to securely grip onto this thing so that you can drag it along. So give me a dexterity check as you kind of tighten the rope.
Okay. 19.
Yes, so that's an artful piece of rope work there. So you loop it over it, tighten it up, it grips on it, catches it round the neck or catches it round over the shoulders and the kind of trunk, and you can give it a good tug and you can pull it off the thing onto the floor with a bit of a bump, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I'll put it onto the floor.
Okay.
And I'll start to pull it towards myself, but I won't bring it too close at the moment.
Yeah. What about Grimbold? Grimbold. What does Grimbold want to do?
Grimbold is going to do a mage hand
Yes.
and also help clear away.
Got it. It seems to be pulling away gunk, which is sort of, tendriling away, suspended in the water. You can't tell if there's now new water flow, as it were, going into the drain. There's no obvious sudden kind of, impact.
Oh.
You think it's, even if you cleared, like if a hand cleared out, like a few, like a sort of foot or so of grating, you're talking about an enormous amount of water and not a very large grill.
I'll move forward a bit into the room.
Okay, so you're going to slush forwards. Are you literally? So you're now ducking your head down under the ceiling and into the water.
So there's a gap between the ceiling and the water.
Nope, there's no gap between the ceiling and the water.
So I have to hold my breath.
You actually the ceiling of the room is below the level of the water once you're down the stairs. So you'd actually have to take a breath to put your head down under the water and then keep crouched down and continue down the stairs and into the room, or swim if you can. You must be able to swim because you've got a job working with.
I'm a sailor.
You're a sailor working with Durkin on the boat on the lake. So yeah.
Okay, I've done my mage hand and now I'm going to swim. Is it half movement?
Yeah, let's call it half movement. Anyway, you can see the pillar in front of you and there's a pillar to the left and right. As you descend down, you can see that there's a pillar in front of you. It looks like it's 10 foot by 10 foot, and another series of kind of pillars dotted about the room. And your light pebble shows you that you can see that there are passageways leading east and west off this chamber.
Okay, so these columns go straight up from the ceiling to the floor.
They
not
do.
Like a pedestal.
Nope.
Right, any levers anywhere?
From where you're standing? No, nothing you can see. Let me see if there's any more detail I can give you. Make an intelligence check.
Yeah, I'm not very clever, I'm afraid.
It's okay. Well, actually, make a perception check.
I'm not very
That makes
perceptive
two of
either.
us.
-1 on this. 10.
10. Okay. 10. No, you don't notice anything new.
Not the giant squid that's heading my way.
No, that you can't see any giant squids. Yeah, apart from the giant squid, obviously, there's a huge. Yeah, you see. Obviously, it's that. You don't notice anything new. The pillars go floor to ceiling.
Okay.
The mage hands are busily clearing away stuff. Let's go back round, and so now we're back to Burple, and then we go back to Cuthbert. So Burple, what do you want to do? Another round of drain clearance?
Another round of drain clearance, and I can use a bonus action to give Sessions a bardic inspiration.
Okay, do you need to be able to see him? No, you just need to be able to sing.
It just needs to be within 60 feet and hear me.
Fine. Okay, Sessions, you've got bardic inspiration. You can roll an extra d6 on a single roll when the time comes.
Within the next 10 minutes.
Okay, awesome.
The creature can wait until after it rolls the d20 before deciding to use the bardic inspiration, but must decide before the DM says whether the roll succeeds or fails.
That's very, very cool.
I'm going to say to Cuthbert.
Are you? How loudly?
So what am I, 50 feet below him?
You're 60 feet below him.
So the question is, has he relayed back what was going on?
No, he hasn't said a word. You can see him silhouetted against the flickering green of the lantern above him, and you can see him he's obviously just sort of hanging onto the rope, and it's difficult to tell how far up above the lip of the sinkhole he is.
Obviously, we've developed a highly sophisticated set of hand signals and gestures to communicate over long distances. Very detailed information.
So I strictly don't actually know that he's seen what's happening to this boy.
First of all, I'm not going to worry about metagaming too much. Secondly, you all only met yesterday. Thirdly, Sessions, Grimbold, and Burple know each other from old because they're local villagers. You're from a monastery from outside town. You've never met these guys before, nor has Cuthbert. So hand signals. You can hear. You've heard all of this stuff going on upstairs. So even though you don't know what Cuthbert has seen, you can hear this sort of shallow, terrified breathing of what sounds like a young person, and you can hear that. Oi, come back, you little bastard!
Right. Well, anyway, my suggestion to you, Paul, be it be metagaming or not, is that you go, psst, psst, to this kid and see if you can. Maybe because he's scared, he might come over to us.
Oh, I'm gonna stand up.
He might feel that climbing down the rope is possibly a better option than what's behind him. Might be interesting. We can get some intel.
Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. How about this, Lucas? You can describe it whichever way you like. But what about you? You probably want to describe it yourself. But what about tugging on the rope and then he'll be able to see you, and then pointing up and then doing a kind of come hither gesture or something?
Yeah, something like that. Whatever. I mean, I'm going to gesture to Paul along the lines of get him to come down.
Okay. Cuthbert, it's your go, but what do you want to do? You feel a tug on the rope, and Parker's looking up at you, kind of gesturing at you.
Yeah, I think I get the gist of what he's suggesting, but kind of I don't think like that. I think I'm just stand up and motion to the kid just to stay where he is.
Okay, you're standing up, as it were. Are you hauling yourself out of the hole?
Yeah,
but keeping low.
Yeah, but I'm gesturing to the guy, the kid, to. Does he see me first?
Well, he does. He didn't see you when you just popped your eyes over the edge.
Yeah.
He's too terrified. But if you haul yourself out the hole, yes, he sees you. He kind of. I'm going
to make the kind of finger over the lips, kind of shh.
Yeah, he kind of backs away from you against this tomb and just looks like, oh my God, what's this? He's too terrified to speak, but his eyes tell you that he's just like, oh, now what?
Okay.
Now you're up a bit, you can see past the top of the tomb, and you can see a hand with a torch held high, and you can see two figures. One figure is a man. He's heavily bearded. He looks like a kind of, wild man of the woods kind of look. He's wearing leather armor. He's carrying you think he's carrying a weapon. You can't see the weapon because it's down below the plane over which you can see over the sarcophagus. He's holding a torch up in the air, and he's kind of peering in. And then next to him is, well, you know what they are. You've never met one. It's a gnoll, which is like a kind of dog-like, humanoid, nasty piece of work creature. It's got a heavy iron collar around its neck.
Right.
It's got one eye is heavily scarred and closed up. It's wearing kind of rags. It's sniffing the air. There's a chain disappearing off into the darkness behind it, and you can hear the sound of a couple more, estimate a couple more people coming up behind. What do you want to do?
Have they seen me?
They can't see you, but you can see them, the gnoll and this bearded human, people behind them, and the kid is backed up, hunkered down against the sarcophagus, so he can't be seen. And let's go back to Grimbold.
Well, I'll keep swimming around. I'll go around the east side of this big pillar.
Okay. And your mage hand is still working. It can work away independently, can it?
I probably can't.
It doesn't mean you have to stop. You just have to
You have to use an action to do something.
Okay, so you can take a move action and then an action to do more clearing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see you swim around this pillar. Are you picking up your light pebble to carry it with you? Yes, you are, I presume.
Yes, I suppose I can swim down on my light pebble.
Yeah, it's interacting with an object. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so what you can see as you work your way round is that there's not much to be seen. This little passageway goes off to the east of you, and there's a pillar in between you and it. The room kind of closes off at the end. There's a door there, so it closes off, and there's a kind of standard-looking, slightly mouldy, sodden-looking door that right in the centre of the far wall. That's to the north wall. Yeah. So you've got passage to the east that you can look down a little bit, can't see very much. The room closes off to the north, ends in the door in the centre of the wall, and you know that there's a passage off to the west, but at the distance you're at, you can't tell anything.
That's it. Fast, efficient.
What's happening?
Well, that was fast, efficient. That was Grimbold. Let's pick up with Sessions. What does Sessions want to do? He's got this body by a rope.
Yeah, now that I'm feeling emboldened with the bardic inspiration, I pull the body towards me.
Yeah.
Can I get it close enough to me that I can kind of examine it?
Yeah. You can put it all the way. I mean, you can put it out the room if you like.
I pull it out the room, pull it up to me, and I'll have a look.
Okay, it's wearing, as I described before, it's wearing red leather armour.
Mm-hmm.
Armour is emblazoned with a kind of 8-pointed symbol. Make an intelligence check. Intelligence history, if you have it.
No.
So just a straight old intelligence check.
Yeah. A big fat 17. Natural
17 is really good. You recognise this symbol, Graham, as of the Seekers. This group of kind of treasure hunters, tomb robbers. You know that they are kind of quite... they're a bit like a secret society, sort of. I mean, in the sense that you've heard of them, obviously not. But they keep themselves to themselves. You don't know very much about them. You know that they're based in Evenstar, the big city, which is about 3 days ride to the west. He's also wearing a silver ring, and that ring looks semi-valuable.
I'll remove
Okay,
that.
you pouch that.
Yep.
That's pretty much all there is to this person.
Okay, and how old is the body? How long dead does it seem to have been? Are there any indication of how it might have died?
Is there a medicine check? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Medicine is
with
skill, which I have.
Okay, well make a wisdom medicine check.
Yeah, possibly wasn't studying very hard that day. 7.
7. No, difficult to determine. I mean, it's not recent, but it's not hundreds and hundreds of years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of desiccated, decayed, mummified. It could have been here for 20 years.
Okay. Well, I'll start removing the red armor as well.
Okay, it's a suit of perfectly nice red leather armor.
Okay. Sorry, I should probably just say once I'm done, I'll lay the body to rest again.
Well, so perform the rites of misfortune over it.
Well, yeah, at least lay it out on the side of the corridor, a slightly reclined riposte.
So you're out in the corridor anyway with this body, right?
Yeah.
So after you've robbed it, you're now going to pay respect to it.
No, I haven't robbed it. I've just reappropriated some of its equipment. It doesn't need it anymore.
equipment. A ring is equipment now, is it? What do you use a ring for?
What ring? There's just red leather armor here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What about Burple Herbish?
So, do I get a feel for how effective clearing this drain is being?
You think that the mage hands are being very effective in clearing out gunk, but you're yet to see any visible impact of the clearing action.
Okay, well, I'll keep going another round.
You make a perception check.
A perception check, man. 15.
Let's see if you can see the giant squid.
15. Could be a trick of the light. It could be something to do with the fact that Grimbold has kind of swum off into the kind of northeast quadrant of this room, and therefore that he's casting shadows with his light pebble.
The gelatinous cube that's moving towards him.
Well, there might be something odd about the kind of the nature. If you're peering down into you're just looking at the grating, right? You can't really see much of the room, but the water around the grating, sort of really near the pillar, there's something happening in the water. It seems something's going on there. Like, is it moving? Is there a little eddy or a current underwater? What Eddie's doing down there, I have no idea. But
Grimbold is going to swim faster than he's ever swum in his life. Swim away!
So water weird.
Could be.
A water weird or a water elemental.
let's pick up with Cuthbert upstairs.
I like the gelatinous cube idea.
I like the gelatinous cube
That's
idea
good.
too.
Paralysed underwater.
Yes, paralysed underwater. Being
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Cuthbert.
Right. I have
When you
an
say it's
idea.
sorry, just to clarify, is it moving? Was it wasn't there before, or is it moving?
It wasn't there before. You were watching it. You were observing your hand at work, and you can see about 10 or 15 foot worth of floor and water around the grating, peering down from the staircase. So you can't see the ceiling. You can't see the whole room. You know, in the abyss,
Yes.
that
Yes.
So the water seems to sort of be moving, it like coalescing or moving unnaturally or thickening or
Away from that
something.
area, or just
No.
concentrated
In that
area?
concentrated in a little kind of portion of the room, just in front of the big pillar and slightly to the left of it, slightly to the west of it.
Okay.
So about 15-20 feet away from you. It's not doing anything. It's just odd. Cuthbert, what are you do? These people are going to come into this chamber, Cuthbert. What are you doing? You can tell you're at the point where if you don't, you've got about a couple of seconds that you could use. You could drop back down the hole. You could take a very risky but not impossible kind of crouch scoot up to the sarcophagus and be on the kind of up against it with the kid. But these guys are walking into the room.
I've got. Well, those are the options. The other option I was thinking is I've got a bag of ball bearings. I was thinking of stealthily getting a handful of ball bearings and then not so stealthily throwing them in another direction down one of the passageways.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In order to distract and then to get the kid to come.
Sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi style.
Obi-Wan Kenobi style. That's
give it a shot if you want.
What I'm going to do. So the idea being is to.
Do you want to throw all of them? Why can't you just throw one?
Well, yeah, just get one or two. It's just to distract them to go in another direction.
Okay. Right.
What do I need to roll?
Well, first things first. This chap is now properly in the room, and he can't see you, probably because he's slightly blinded by his own torchlight. You're in relative shadow, even though you have got the Green Lantern behind you. I'm presuming you're hunkered down.
Yeah.
And he's looking around. Can you give me a wisdom insight check, please? So he's standing there, holding the torch above his head, and he's looking around the room and he's stopped shouting. He's reacting to the room. He's just walked into this chamber. There's a sarcophagus. There are these little passageways. All these lanterns are lit, and he's kind of slightly open-mouthed, kind of looking around. And he goes, "Oh, Madam, come and have a look up here. Come and have a look up here." And you hear a voice behind him go, "Okay, keep your hair on."
Okay, I'm going to give you a wisdom roll.
Sessions. There was a mention of another group, wasn't there, early on, that you kind of gave them a bum steer and pushed them to one of the other barrows?
They were the travellers with Paul, with Cuthbert.
Yeah, Cuthbert doesn't recognise this chap. This is not they. The three travellers that came into town with Cuthbert. There's an older male wizard, an elven rogue female, and a kind of warrior gladiator guy called Chank Fankum, who's their leader. And yes, Sessions, on the night before you came out here, he basically deceived them into believing that he knew where the Whispering Cairn was and that it was on the other side of the lake.
So, as predictable, I got an enormous 7 for my wisdom.
Okay, his reaction to seeing these, what's in the room, is not. There's something else going on there other than just amazement, but you can't determine what it is.
Okay.
We found it.
Yeah. Or fear.
Your ball bearing.
Yeah.
You've got to make an attack roll. You're picking a corridor, I presume, that's, as it were, on the other side of the sarcophagus, heading off in a different direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to kind of ping it against the wall of it so that it bounces along down one of those passageways.
That's what I want. I want to give the impression that something's being kind of dropped by accident down one of those corridors.
I mean, there's red and violet, the two corridors that are, as it were, the most opposite you. They're the ones that head off.
I know that the red one is dark because we don't have a red lantern.
Yeah.
So that is the one I'll pick.
Okay, so can you make a stealth check for starters?
Yes, and I'll make
With
a stealth
advantage.
check with advantage. That's not going to be very good.
What did you get?
That's going to be better. 22.
Okay,
So
so
first of all, I got 11, then I got a 22.
you're still concealed. They don't notice even when you kind of flick your hand and throw the thing. Now make an attack roll, ranged attack roll. You don't get to use your proficiency bonus. So basically, you're making a dexterity check.
Just a dexterity roll. That is a 16.
16 is good enough. So you stay concealed. This thing flashes through the room, catches the torchlight of it because it's a ball bearing. But this big guy and this gnoll that are both kind of, the gnoll's like and kind of sniffing and kind of looking around, clearly not interested at all in this crazy chamber. this chap is not looking the right way. So your ball bearing zooms across, hits the wall, rattles down the corridor. He goes, "What the fuck was that?" And he turns. He immediately his head whips round and he starts walking off that way. And the gnoll starts following him. And two more figures appear on the other side of the room. Again, you can only see the very top of them. One of them's carrying a torch, one of them's not. It's another guy, bearded, much thinner. Again, a kind of like a wild man of the woods look. He's wearing leather armor. He's got a short sword in his hand, which he's holding up. And then there's a woman. She looks hungry. She looks like she slept in a hedge. She's wearing kind of black leather armor. She's holding a torch above her head, and the other hand is holding onto the chain, which is clearly attached to this gnoll. So you've got four figures, including the gnoll, on the other side of the room. None of them have spotted you. She says, "Digger, Digger." Oh, God, that's a stupid voice. She says,
Digger, 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 what's that? Digger, what is it?
and he's like, "I don't know, fucking on. Do you hear that? Do you hear that noise?"
Brilliant.
That's enough for you.
Can I have a free action?
You have a free action, yeah.
Can I kind of beckon to this kid?
Yes. Okay, the kid is not stupid. He, you think it's a boy, slowly pushes himself up with his back against the sarcophagus and very slowly peers his head back to look and see what's going on behind him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks back at you and he shakes his head and he ducks back down again.
Okay.
He doesn't fancy his chances of making it across that ground without making a noise or being seen.
Okay. In which case, I'll nod at him.
You get another insight check, Cuthbert. It's a very busy round this, but you're reacting to things that are going on. When these other two walk in, they also react to what they can see in the room. She doesn't seem, I don't know, she seems a bit unfazable and a bit kind of wild-eyed. But the other chap that she's with, the thin, scraggly, beardy chap, he reacts slightly strangely to what he's seeing as well. Can you make another insight check?
Okay. Really bad. 5.
Okay, no, difficult to determine what's going on there. Let's go back downstairs. Grimbold, what do you want to do?
Run away.
I'm getting a bit worried about this water weird or whatever it is.
Just don't go near it. I think it doesn't seem to move, and it hasn't moved after you.
Well, it might be just coalescing. Soon going to come after me. Are you going to come into the water?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what.
Right,
Actually, I'm going to take
so-
all of my clothes off and all of my equipment.
So it's very
just-
nice offering advice about staying in the water.
Well, you're Grimbold, you're underwater. You can't speak in that sense.
All right. There are no levers anywhere,
You can't see any levers.
and I've got a number of rounds equal to my constitution.
Yeah, we're not going to overdo that. I think in theory you have twice your constitution in rounds.
Right, that's ages.
Yeah, you've got ages that you can kind of pootle about. Once you run out of those rounds, things get very nasty very quickly. You get a number of rounds equal to your constitution modifier when you're suffocating, and then you're dead.
Okay. I'm going to poke my head into this room,
Which room are you poking your head into?
the eastern room.
So you're heading over to the eastern room and having a look. Okay.
I like pebble.
With your light pebble, okay, what you see when you peer into that room is that it looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like a locker room. There are benches, 4 long benches. There are niches. There are niches carved into the walls, and there's not much else. There is a pile of tattered clothes stuffed into one of the niches.
Niches.
What? Sorry, why are you
Niches.
saying niches? We're not about.
Sorry, niches. Okay, so there's. So I don't know what I'm saying. Niches, or whichever one it is, doesn't matter.
I've got the niches.
Have you? Yeah, well, there's a cream.
There's only half a niche.
cheap.
It's a demi niche.
You can get a cream from the chemist for that,
Sorry.
Johnny. There's a little pile of tattered clothes in one of the niches. Niches.
Niches. Right. Well, I'm going to do a move action. I'm not going to bother with my hand, mage hand.
Okay.
And then I'm going to spend the other 15 foot heading towards this door.
Okay. So you peer down there. You see the locker room. You see the niches. You see the bundle of rags, and then you carry on up north. You carry on going north towards this door. Yep.
Yeah, can I see from where I am whether the door looks like it opens in or out?
It opens towards you. You think.
So I'm not going to be able to open it.
Well, you don't know. I mean, it's possible to open a door underwater. There's a bit more resistance.
Well, Just don't think I'll be able to.
Okay.
I've seen enough
There's a
films.
positive mental attitude.
I've seen enough films on submarines and stuff. There's no way they're going to do it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, obviously, Grimbold's experience with submarines is
Extensive.
Yeah. I mean, all that time. What about Burple?
41 years.
41 years
Of working in submarines, yes.
driving boats.
Okay, so the last time I asked about the clearing away thing, you gave me a sort of cryptic thing implying that there's some kind of creature or effect in.
That's right. There's something going on in the water just ahead of you, down in the room. Bear in mind, you're still on the stairs. You're only really up to about your waist in water. So you're.
Yeah, but okay. So but the hand is pulling away matter. What is happening to that matter?
It's drifting. It's suspended in the water as it's pulled up. It's like cloggy, weedy goop. So it's
not actually going anywhere. It's just.
It doesn't seem to be being pulled back towards the grating by any kind of current. No. Yeah. Very good question.
So basically the situation is either this is a complete red herring or it's like 10 rounds of digging, 10 minutes clearing away will result in X. There doesn't seem to be an awful lot else going on. Yet, obviously. Obviously, I'm waiting for it to attack Johnny, and I will ready.
We're all waiting for it to attack Johnny.
Yeah, exactly. So I will ready to jump out of the water should this ripple effect come towards me. That's what I'm going to do.
So you're readying an action to basically leg it.
Yeah, basically, and just continue with the hand clearing stuff away.
Got it. Okay, what about Sessions? What's Sessions up to?
I'm wondering what else is visible in that room.
The room that you've just been. Not much else. You've got the 8 slabs, you've got the corpse, and you've got the statue, and that's it.
Okay. In that case, I will pootle round to where we're watching the swimmer.
So you're going to head round and head up north to the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I hesitate to try this. What about Parker?
Yep, I'm still here. Basically, I'm waiting at the bottom of the rope, assuming that it's a child. A plunge. And I think it's probably sensible if we have one of us at the top and one of us at the bottom is rope.
Gotcha. So you're basically readying an action.
The
readying an action to steady the rope, should your help be required.
Yes.
Cuthbert, so these people are having a conversation that you can tune into. They're having an argument about who goes down that dark corridor. Yeah?
Yeah.
The woman is clearly the leader, and they refer to her as Madame or Madam. Yeah. You think one of them's the two chaps, one's called Digger, one's called JJ, and they're arguing between each other about whether or not to go down this little passageway. And JJ, who is the thin, scrawny one, says to Digger, who's the wild man of the woods one, "These lanterns, are these like the ones in Cobbins' office? These look like the ones in Cobbins' office." And the big guy goes, "What, the one? Yeah, he's got one just like this. He's got one just like this in his office, hasn't he?" And she says,
"Will you two just stop fucking gabbling and one of you go down that fucking passage before I stab you?"
And then she sort of rattles the chain on this knoll, and it kind of starts growling at them. And one of them's like, Digger's like, okay, fucking hell, okay, I'll go and I'll have a look. He holds his torch up and he starts padding off down the corridor away from you. So he goes out of sight. JJ, the thin one, starts looking around and starts going, "Where are you, kid? We know you're in here, kid. We won't hurt you. We won't hurt you. We just want to look after you. What do you want to do?"
It's like the Manchester equivalent of Deliverance.
Yeah, not a banjo in sight, but I get the idea. Let's hope it's not that, actually, Lucas, bearing in mind that, this goes out before the watershed. We don't want any squealing moment. What does Cuthbert want to do?
Cuthbert is going to do a couple of things. He's going to throw another ball bearing down the other corridor that was away from him. I can't remember which coloured lantern it was.
Yeah, that's the violet corridor. So they're clustered around the dark and red, what would be, you assume, the red lantern corridor. The only person really looking into the room or able to observe you would be JJ, the thin guy, who's now kind of padding around in the body of the room on the other side of the sarcophagus. I mean, he's looking at the sarcophagus. He's not. You don't think he's going to be so stupid that he's not going to think to come and have a look round it. But at the moment, he's just peering into the darkness and calling out. He looks scared. You need to make a stealth check if you want to kind of flash a ball bearing down another passageway.
Yeah.
Try and do it when he's looking in the other direction.
Yeah. That's the first action. The second action I was going to do would be to drop back down the hole.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's going to be throw one and then
Yeah.
kind of scootle back down, but still just stay at the top, as it were. So I will do...
I'm with you. Yeah. So sort of clamber in a bit, holding onto the rope. That's the other thing, of course, that you've got to bear in mind is that kid or no kid, if somebody comes around the other side of your side of the sarcophagus, they're going to see the rope and the python.
Yeah.
And then you've got all sorts of fun.
Well, I can't take them on my own, so
No.
there we are. Okay, well, let's give this roll a stealthy roll, getting a 21.
Okay, so you're like a ghost. You throw your ball bearing. Do you hit the right place?
That is a roll of my just straightforward dexterity roll.
It's a straightforward dexterity check. Yeah.
Come on, 15.
15's great. So you absolutely nail it. It pings into the other thing. This JJ's head whips round to look down the other corridor, and he's like, "Fucking hell, what's going on?" And then you'll make another stealth check to use your move action to scuttle back down the stairs. Scuttle back down to the sinkhole without making a noise, without drawing attention to yourself. This is an important one.
11, but I've got the re-roll on it, don't I?
You've got advantage. You can make another roll.
Advantage. I get a 13.
Okay, yeah, 13 is good enough. They're distracted by the ball bearing. JJ's looking down the violet corridor. The other guys are around the other side. And the kid, when he sees you do this, he plucks up the courage to make a dash for it.
Brilliant.
As he sees, his eyes widen as he realizes that you're going away, basically. Yeah. He's been sort of slightly peering as sneakily as he can over the sarcophagus. He sees that they're all distracted, and he has a go. He's going to make a stealth check. His stealth is not going to be amazing, I will be honest with you, but let's see what it is. He makes a stealth check. Big moment coming up. And he rolls a natural 20.
20.
So the kid,
Look at that.
quick glance over his shoulder, realizes that this is the moment, and he scuttles after you. You're lowering yourself into the hole, so I presume that you're going in feet first and then kind of bracing yourself with your hands or holding onto the rope. So he scuttles along. He realizes that he hasn't got a rope to hold on to. Yeah.
He can get on me.
Yeah. So what he's going to do is he's going to just basically kind of
Piggyback.
like a baseball player, like heading in, like trying to get to first base. He kind of slides in and he kind of grabs hold of your belt or whatever and is just hanging there while you're hanging onto the rope, clinging onto you for dear life. And let us head back downstairs to the character with the lowest life expectancy, and that is Grimbold. What do you want to do, Grimbold?
Well, he is also, 41 years of experience. He's
That's
been
true.
around a long time.
Yeah, he must know something we don't.
I'm heading
For the
eastwards
metaphorical exit.
to the entrance to the... Sorry, I'm heading westwards to the entrance.
So you're heading westwards to the entrance to the other chamber. Now that other chamber looks basically the same as the eastern chamber. It's a small room. It's got 4 long benches with several niches along the walls.
So this one's got niches, but the other one's got niches.
This one's got niches.
So
yeah,
they are
because-
slightly
That
different.
might mean something.
Yeah, so the American operatives were in the other room, and then the Europeans were in this room. There's a dead body in here, Grimbold. It's wearing red leather armor. There's not much else on it. The armor has been kind of torn apart as if by sharp claws, and the
Piranha type teeth type.
difficult to tell. Do you want to make do you have a medicine skill, Grimbold?
Doubt it. I got -1 medicine.
Give it a shot. What'd you get?
So -1 off this. 17.
Well, 17. You think that something has. You think it's claws, something with sharp claws, and you think that it looks like, where you can see the skeleton, it looks like the bones have been cracked open, almost like something's been trying to get into the bones, like get into the marrow. It's got a mouldy, short scabbard attached to its belt. That's pretty much it.
It must be fairly well preserved.
Hey, you're asking me to speculate. I don't know.
Well,
I just read stuff off a piece of paper.
well, if it's well preserved, then presumably the water's been here for quite a while.
Again, there's a danger you're going into areas that I'm not equipped to confirm or deny. But this body is there. I mean, this body is, like when they investigate. You'll know this actually, Grimbold, because of your 41 years of driving subboats for the U.S. Navy. That it's like when you go into a flooded submarine. It's sort of floating there, kind of suspended in the water.
Bloated.
Bloated. Well, not no, it's skeletal. It's got bits of mouldy flesh, but it's just cinematic. I mean, come on, one ping only.
Okay, that's my go.
Crazy Ivan, which way?
Crazy Ivan. That's Bart Mancuso's boat. Okay, so let's go back to Burple, Herpish, and Sessions. What are they doing?
Burple Herpish. Burple Herpish is going to
Help me out with this room. Come on.
You can.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
Well, you can't
that's what I'm
see.
doing.
You can't see Grimbold. You haven't seen him for. I mean, it's been about 3 or 4 rounds. So Grimbold's been gone for about 30 seconds, something like that.
Got
Just
to see the
under.
light, Pebbles.
You saw him. Yeah, you can see where the light. You can see the light flickering, moving around. So you can see that the light is now coming over from the western side of the chamber. But that's all.
I don't know there's much else that I can do for now, so I will continue with my clearing of debris.
You could go in the water.
What?
Go in the water.
I am in the water.
Fully.
No.
Without
Why
any
would I do that?
clothes.
Why would I do that?
What about Sessions?
Well, I'm with Burple, so I'm kind of waiting, I guess.
Burple, are you passing on what you know to Sessions as you stand in the
Yes, of
corridor?
course.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
quietly,
yeah, there's something
just being
gorgeous.
mindful of
Kind
the
of-
sounds upstairs.
Yeah, have you seen the abyss? Yeah. Okay.
It's like that.
Yeah. No, I've never got around. Oh,
Let
damn,
me
I've
lend
run
you
out,
the DVD.
I've run out of. Yeah, I've got it on Blu-ray. Oh, okay, yeah, but that wasn't really helping me. I don't like Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. We're running out of cultural reference. Okay, so you're doing that. Let's go back then to where the real action is, apart from obviously Grimbold's imminent destruction.
Demise. Yeah.
Yeah, and back to the we've got Parker at the bottom of the rope. We've got Cuthbert and the kid at the top of the rope. What are you doing, Cuthbert?
Okay.
Cuthbert, Cuthbert is going to, as quickly and as quietly as possible, wing his way down.
Okay. Do you want to make stealth checks as you do so?
Yeah, I'll make.
You can get down in about. It's
Well, I
about the
should be
same, even rappelling. It's not. I mean, it'll take you a round or two to get down, but you can get halfway down the rope. You don't need to make a check to do that. Do you want to make a stealth check to be quiet?
That's 15.
Okay, that's
plus.
good.
Oh, okay. I won't roll again.
Let's make sure that the kid doesn't do anything catastrophic. No, the kid is as silent as a mouse. And so Parker, you can feel the tension on the rope change, and you look up and you can see that Cuthbert +1 is on his way down to you.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll steady off.
Okay, that's the brilliant little phrase that sounds like it's a professional phrase, meaning you're doing
Yeah,
something, but doesn't
meaning
actually mean
I'm
anything.
doing absolutely
Yeah,
nothing.
steadying off.
Just
Yeah, I'm just gonna
standing here.
use my round to steady off. Back to Grimbold.
Right.
Do you want to make a perception check, Grimbold?
Yeah. Okay. Right. So it's -1 off this roll. 10.
10. Okay. What about? Could Burple make a quick perception check? I sort of missed him out.
Oh, sorry, 16. Yes. Sorry, I was on.
16. Okay. You think this little area of weird water? I'm not trying to give you any clues with that phrase. Is A, more distinct than it was, and B, seems to be concentrating now around the mage hand.
Is it trying to do some stuff to the mage hands?
Nothing's happening. No, nothing is impeding the mage hands, but that just seems to be where it seems to be concentrating the most. So it started sort of manifesting itself at the southwestern corner of the big pillar, but now it seems to be more concentrated around where the mage hands are working away at the grill. One of them is kind of idle, which is Grimbold's mage hand, and then there's yours, which is busily kind of clearing away, and it seems to be kind of coalescing around them. Anyway, Grimbold, what do you want to do?
Right. Well, I'm going to swim.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll swim up to there. Can I see something now? Up to the pillar. The
Yeah, no,
southwest
you're right
corner
up
of
to it.
the
You don't
pillar?
need to make a. Yeah, no, you're. It's refracting or playing with the light coming down from the staircase above you, right? So you can clearly see that there's a sort of shimmery, coalescing, unnatural quality to the water around the bottom of the stairs, specifically around the mage hands.
Right.
So yeah, Grimbold, you think there's probably space to get past the main body of this weirdness and get to the stairs just?
That's what I'll do.
Okay, so you take a second move action to get onto the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as you go past this thing, it does seem to react to you. It doesn't lash out or attack, but it does seem to sort of react. It sort of recoil is the wrong word, but it detects your presence as you go past it. What about Sessions and Burple?
When you say it detects, what does it do? How do we identify that?
Well, it as he goes past it, you realise the way that it reacts. Okay, so let's say it was just something
Okay.
floating in.
Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. There's a load of debris floating around. Can we make out any kind of shape, or is it just an area?
It's an area. It's an area about somewhere between about 3 and 5 foot across, and about 3 and 5 foot tall. But it's not a ball. It's not like a will-o-wisp of water. It's like it's like a sort of amorphous. It sort of changes its shape and its form all the time, extending bits and then withdrawing bits. And you would have thought that if there was something floating in the water as Grimbold went past it, it would be tugged like a little. The vortex effect of Grimbold went past it. The vortex effect would sort of pull this stuff with him, but it doesn't. Instead, it sort of seems to almost intelligently, is that it's maybe putting it too strongly, react to Grimbold being nearby and sort of not recoil but sort of slightly back away.
So it slightly backs away. It's very perplexing. And if I move the hand, so it's going towards the hand.
Yeah.
I move. So it's in a particular square, is it?
It's taking up. If you had to identify a specific location, it's in the square. It's in a square about 5 feet away from you north, and about 5 foot away from you west.
Okay, so if I move the hand,
Yeah.
like 5 foot east,
Yes.
does it follow?
Yes. Make a perception check.
It could be that it says it likes magic.
Could be.
Could be.
8.
8's actually not the end of the world. What you think is that this hand is incorporeal, effectively.
Yeah.
This weird bit of water is trying to interact with the hand, trying to swirl around it, try to interfere with it, yeah? But is unable to do so because it's an incorporeal spectral thing. That's what you think is happening.
Okay.
You think it doesn't like the hand, or it doesn't like what the hand is doing.
Okay. In which case, I will continue to try and do what the hand is doing.
Yeah, fine. What about Sessions?
Ready to obviously step out of the water should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I'll continue to observe this. I'm not really sure what to do right now, so I will.
That's fair enough. You can hang tough. Parker, are you continuing to steady off?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the point is when Nikis gets down, we want to start interviewing him, right?
Interviewing him.
Well, yeah.
So tell me about your previous employment.
Yeah.
What are your policies?
Yeah, he's putting yeah. Didn't you tell me? Didn't you tell me, Lucas, off game, as it were, when we weren't recording, that Parker speaks in a strange Slavic accent and his eyes light up when he speaks?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should probably bear that in mind when we adjudicate how well he does with other people. Sir, you are a small boy.
Yes, child. What do you do here?
He's going to start climbing back up the rope.
So, in that case, Cuthbert and the kid get to the ground.
Yes.
This kid's like, "Oh, thank you." Looks at Parker and goes, "Oh my God." No, he doesn't. He looks really nervous. He looks like he trusts you. He looks like this stranger has rescued me from peril, but now has carried
there's
me.
a bunch of real weirdos.
Yeah, and carried me below ground into a hellhole full of weirdos. With Mr. Slav, eyelighty, bald green man looking at me, busily steadying off in the corner.
Right, so I think what Cuthbert wants to do is lead this person just a bit further down the corridor northwards, just so that we're out of sight of if somebody was to kind of drop a torch down and look down, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, you've got there was a light pebble at the bottom of the thing, but that was Burple's. So if Burple's now got a light pebble, he's either carrying that with him, which means there's no light source at the bottom of the shaft, or he's dispelled and recast. So it's somebody looking down the shaft would not see anything, you think. But Sessions and Burple, can you both make? Well, you don't need to make a check. You recognise this kid. You know this kid.
Oh yeah. Do we?
Yeah. He is. Well, you're not certain of his name, but you know that he is the son of a woman called Gorbag's Spenge, who
It's the Spenge boy.
It's the Spenge boy. And she runs a kind of tavern restaurant called the Rusty Bucket in town.
It's not. His name's not Bob, is it? It's not Spenge Bob.
No, it's not Spenge Bob. It's Morklet. His name is Morklet Spenge.
Sorry, I'm on fire today.
You are. It's
Again?
Just pulling this stuff out of God knows. Have you read this dungeon in advance?
No, I just got my script writer sitting next to me.
The writing room.
Yeah.
There's like 12 guys behind the glass. Every now and again, one of them holds up a piece of paper,
Spenge Bob.
passes it through. It just says Spenge Bob. Yeah. Just say it, man. Just say it. It's funny.
Just say Spenge Bob.
Just say SpongeBob. It's hilarious. Okay, so yeah, you know him. He's a kid. He's the son of the woman that runs the Rusty Bucket in town, which is a kind of, it's not the worst place to eat.
Do you mind if we call you Bob? Should we call you Bob? Okay, so we know this kid. It's like, what were you doing? Yeah, what were you doing around here? Who
Are you
these
shouting
people
that down, or are you approaching and speaking to him
No,
quietly?
I'm not. I'm whispering it just perfectly pitched so that
I'll approach him. I'll wander off and do
Yeah, I mean, he recognises you, Sessions. You suspect he doesn't know who you are, but he clearly he knows your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so what are you doing here?
we live here. Oh, I'm just going to shut up now. I think.
It's great. Yeah. Does anybody answer him?
We're exploring. What are you doing here?
I came up. The other kids dared me to come up here and have a look. And then when I saw. I guess are they your horses that are tethered outside?
Yes.
And I saw them and I thought, oh, there's somebody in there. And I came in a bit, and then there was a shout, and then these people came after me. I know who it is. It's what's her name? It's Madame Wodge of the Lodge and her outlaws. Now you know who Madame Wodge of the Lodge is, guys. Madame Wodge of the Lodge used to be the kind of strong arm enforcer for a mine owner in town called Balabar Smenk. Balabar Smenk is like the kind of the big cheese now. He arrived not that many years ago, and he's sort of very aggressively kind of acquired mines, put other people out of business. He uses kind of dodgy tactics. He uses blackmail. He uses strong arm tactics and intimidation, and he's kind of building a mining empire, much to the resentment of the other mine owners. And Madame Wodge of the Lodge was his strong arm enforcer, and she killed a constable in a brawl in a tavern called the Feral Dog, which is the tavern in town on the main square where all the bad stuff happens. And she fled Diamond Lake into the hills in order to avoid justice. So that's who she is. So he knows who she is. He's terrified.
And
We know this kid because he's the son of the woman who runs the inn.
Sessions and Burple know this kid, and Grimbold will too when he emerges from the water, if he ever does.
And these people who are up the top are some bad people.
They're outlaws who saw him as he was up.
These aren't just like some outlaws, but he knew who they were, right?
Yeah, he knew that was the terrifying Madame Wodge, who left town it's the month of Fumbulary. So you're in deep winter. Fumbulary. I have a very organised. This stuff doesn't just appear, Graham. I have a very organised calendar and world.
what happens after Fumbulary?
I know that.
Smudge.
No, there's a different month. I've got months. Yeah, no, I can tell you what the months are.
Well, yeah, can you tell us all of the months?
Yes.
Yeah.
What you want me to tell you them now?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to write them down.
It's January. January is the first month of the year.
January. Yeah.
Fumbulary.
Yeah, we'll come back to Fumbulary. Yeah, so
Fart.
January, Fumbulary. Yeah.
Yeah. Ape shit. Mage.
Okay.
Jewel. Jewel eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awful. Whenever.
Yeah.
Whenever. Spock-hoctor.
Spock-hoctor. Yeah.
Cucumber and dismember. Those are the 12 months.
Okay, excellent.
This stuff does not just. This stuff is just not kind of conjured. Today, if you want to know today's date.
Sorry, what was the 6th month again?
The 6th month, as of course I'll be able to tell you immediately, is Jewel.
Oh, okay.
It's today.
Okay, I'll ask you next time.
Yeah, today is Sunday, which is
Daddy's written them down already.
today is Sunday, the 4th of February, in the 595th year of the Brotherhood. Sunday is actually the equivalent of our Friday. The days are Moon Day, Tonge, Weekday, Thump Day, Sunday, Asthma Day, and Urt.
What?
Urt is Urt is Friend Guide Storyteller, the creator of the world.
Yes. And why does it? But he's also a day.
Yeah, because
Is he a rest? Is he a rest? Is he a rest day?
He's a rest day.
He's a rest. He's a Sabbath, is he?
Well, I mean, he's the equivalent, I suppose, to a Sabbath, to the extent that they have one here. Moon Day is named after the moon. Tonge is named after Tonge, the Seckless Eye of Wisdom. Weekday is the third day of the week. Thump Day is named after Thump, the god of battles and fighting. Sunday is named after the sun. Asthma Day is named after Asmodee, the devil. And Urt is named after the creator.
Yeah. Sorry, what was the 4th month again?
The 4th month is apeshit.
Okay. All right. Moving on.
All right, this is all.
You know,
This,
why are you
just-
boring us with all this stuff?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just a suggestion that this is not all perfectly planned and worked out. Right. So I've completely forgotten what we were talking about.
We were
Lucas,
asking.
Lucas was asking. Yes.
SpongeBob.
So
Right, yeah, I've understood now. So basically, we've rescued boy of reasonably wealthy innkeeper from nasty people.
Mm-hmm. That should be worth something.
this is how Parker articulates it, is it?
Yeah,
Reasonably wealthy.
With his eyes lighting up.
yeah, that's right. His eyes light up as dollar symbols go.
Anyway, so this kid is scared. He came up here as a dare. That's how a lot of kids come up to this cairn. You did, Burple and Sessions and stuff. When you were kids, you came up. The dare is to go into the entrance, and you've never really you didn't do it. He saw the horses. He says he was peering in. He thought, God, there are people there. Then he heard a shout, and he saw Madame Wodge of the Lodge and her heavies and that awful knoll on the end of a chain come kind of crashing around the corner after him, and he fled in here, and you've rescued him.
They were outside the cave entrance, or were they inside?
They were outside. You know, and he knows that they roam. They roam the hills. It's always been assumed that they left town. That they kind of scrabble a living out in the hills, away from the forces of law and order,
Right,
such as they exist in Diamond Lake, because the forces of law and order in Diamond Lake are massively corrupt. But
Do any of us recognise that name that they used?
Cubbins is the sheriff.
Oh,
This is something that Cuthbert is going to have to I mean, we're making a presumption here, but
Yeah.
Cuthbert, you heard the conversation between JJ and the other guy. I can't remember his name because I'm hopeless. Digger. So yes, Cuthbert overheard a conversation between JJ and Digger, and one of them said these lanterns are just like that lantern in Cubbins' office.
Ooh, I wonder where we're going to get the red lantern from.
He's got the red one.
Yes, it might be where your red lantern is. Yeah.
So what are we doing down here?
Quite a lot of things.
Okay.
As usual.
All at the same time. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah. What next?
That is a very good question. What do you want to do next?
I think a trip back into town. Wait till these guys bugger
So
off.
look, Mike. Let's sort of cut to the chase. I'm going to continue clearing this stuff away for say 10 minutes.
This weird water thing tries to interfere with the activity of your mage hand with no effect, and your mage hand keeps clearing away gunge with no effect, and it only lasts a minute. By the time it expires, you've made no appreciable difference to the drains.
Okay, do another one.
Yeah, just keep doing them. It's cast permanency. Yeah.
I'm going to come out the water.
Yep.
And do a chromatic orb on top of the thing, the creature.
Are you now?
Yes.
Okay.
A lightning one.
Okay.
I'm stepping back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So
Me too.
So Grimbold ushers the other people away from the water. Well, he probably wouldn't
Right.
think to do that. Actually, he probably quite like them to be zapped.
Yeah, taking damage.
Okay, and he casts a chromatic orb at this thing. So you need to roll to make a ranged spell attack. Yep.
Yeah, is it going to have advantage? Because it's in water.
I think you can have I think you can have advantage because you're attacking out of nothing. To the extent that you've got surprise, I think that's reasonable.
Okay, so it's +5. Okay, so this has got the 5 added. 20. Natural 20. Bloody hell.
Okay, so you land it absolutely square on this thing. I mean, presuming it travels through the water, we're just going to hand wave whatever effect the water might have. Make your there's no save throws there. There's no saving throw. How much damage?
It's a critical, right?
Yeah, it's critical. So the damage is 24.
24 points of damage. Well, I mean, you zap it with this thing, and it definitely recoils. It seems to be very unhappy about what you've just done, whatever it is, and it dissipates, or rather, it retreats off into the darkness where you can't see it.
Oh, didn't kill it.
You don't think you killed it. It's not there anymore. You didn't get the sense that it's sort of all gone. You got the sense that it sort of recoiled and then withdrew. Okay, what next?
We seem
Good
to be
question.
kind of slightly stuck down here. We haven't fully explored room to the west where I got exhausted. We haven't fully explored the room to the east with all the bugs in it. We've got
But we have recovered the body.
We've recovered the body. We've got the Red Lantern back in town, and we've got some guys upstairs. Don't know what the situation with them is. I think what Cuthbert is going to do is going to stand in the shadows below the broken lift shaft, if that's what it is, and he's going to be listening to see if he can hear anything.
Well, the likelihood is the guys upstairs are going to find the rope, right? And they're going to then look down. And if they look down and they see someone down there, they have kind of motivation to. It gives them more of a more clarity on their actions. If they don't see anyone, they might assume that this is old, or that they don't necessarily know that we're still here.
Except that there's a rope coming down with a piton, and they're looking for a little boy, so they might assume that he's come down here anyway.
Right, exactly. But they might send somebody down in advance. They might send the knoll down, in which case we've got one thing to fight rather than all. If they see that there's somebody down here, they might all come down en masse, and it might be more tricky. Or they might cut their losses and go away.
Yeah. Or that's why I said I was going to be kind of discreetly. So I'm not seen.
I just think we want to be properly out of sight with no sign of light or anything that they can identify.
Or they might pull the rope up.
Well, they might pull the rope up, but what are we going to do about that otherwise? Are we going to climb up the rope now?
Engage.
Where?
We climb up.
Only one at a time. I kind of get what Dan's saying. I kind of agree, which is why I was trying to say I'm going to be doing this quietly. But let's stay out of visible sight, and I just want to listen.
So what I was saying was that we can either climb up the rope. We can either hide, or we can climb up the rope and try to engage them at the top and have a fight. The question is whether we think we can get to the top quickly enough to be in position to engage before we're at a sort of disadvantaged situation.
Yes, that makes sense.
What do we think, guys?
So the only thing I'm thinking is, if we are going to sort of hold out, then of course at the moment we're dragging some body out of the crypt. We've got some people splashing around in the water. If anybody was to come to the edge, then they would be hearing all this, because down at the bottom we heard them at the top of the stairs. So that means if they're at the top of the shaft, right, they're going to be hearing what's going on downstairs.
Well, for background, you can hear them muttering and talking to each other upstairs, but they're loud northern outlaws. So it's all like, I can't see him. I can't see him anywhere. You can hear them crashing around upstairs, and their voices seem to be getting nearer. It can't be too long before they find the rope.
So how long does it take to climb?
It takes 2 rounds to climb the rope.
And it's a DC.
I'm hand waving that.
Okay.
It's a 5 foot wide thing. You can almost brace your feet against it and hold onto the rope and kind of walk up. I mean, frankly, without getting too rulesy about it, it seems crazy that it takes you like 12 seconds to climb up a 60-foot rope. It's a 5-story building, but whatever.
All right. So basically, I personally vote that we try and get up to the top of the rope and have a fight at the top. That's what I reckon. Because then we can go after the lantern. What do you reckon, guys?
Well, I'd be for that as well. Yeah.
Cut.
I think I agree with that.
All those in favour, say aye. And
Aye.
right, let's go now. Right, brilliant. Okay, so who's going out first? But then Grimbold, obviously the fighter types at the front.
Yeah, I'm happy to go out first.
Okay, so you're going to marshal yourselves at the base of the rope, being as quiet as you possibly can. Dowsing lights.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the only light you have is the green flickering light from the lantern directly above you. And as quietly as you can hear these guys crashing around upstairs. How long are you going to wait for an opportune moment?
We're not. We're going to try.
You're going for it. Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to try and be stealthy.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm going to.
who's going first?
No, I'm not. Well, Cuthbert's got the thing, so he may as well go first. Parker is up for it.
What's the thing?
He's got the luck thing.
He's got the blessing of the Lady Misfortune.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And we
So
we tell the boy
Yeah.
to wait at the bottom.
Yeah. And up you go with the guys waiting above.
Yeah. What's your stealth like, Parker?
+2.
That's not bad. That's better than mine. Sessions, what's yours like?
+3.
+3. That's not too bad either. And Grimbold?
+3.
So we should go up in order of stealth, really, which means we're going
Yeah.
up last.
Okay. A couple of things are going to happen. First thing that happens is that a figure appears silhouetted against the Green Lantern, holding a torch, but the light of that torch is not bright enough to penetrate down as deep as you are. You can see that it is Digger, the big, bulky, beardy outlaw, and he
Step back out to the side.
yeah, he's peering down. He's looking straight at anybody who's looking up, or you could be tucked to the side just enough to be able to see what he's doing. And he kind of shouts back over his shoulder, I don't know, I can't see anything. And then he kind of gets hold of the rope, and it starts to kind of wiggle about. Yeah, I don't know. And then you can hear, no, I'm not fucking going down there. You think I'm a madman? And then you hear another voice. You think it's JJ. Go, wait a second, look, it moves. And you hear from above you hear a kind of click grinding kind of sound.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes click clink clunk, and then you feel a rumble all around you.
Huh?
And you hear Digger, what the fuck have you done? JJ goes, I don't know, something's happening. And clearly they've summoned an elevator. You don't know which one they're pointing at. It has to be yellow or indigo, but you can hear the elevator you can sense it, the sort of thrum of it, being
sort of off in
activated.
the distance.
Yeah, off in the distance. And we'll pick it up next time.
Oh.
Well,
Love it.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. The Whispering Can and The Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. The Whispering Can was written by Eric Mona. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening.